Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay. Item on the agenda, motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll move that we approve it as presented.
Second, pull G3 off there.
Oh, I'll make the motion that we pull G3 off. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lift it.
the agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay,
Form G3, huh?
yeah, in the discussion.
Okay.
Call the question.
Join the meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding. I already did that.
Press it.
Thank you. Moving on to summary of current events, starting off with Superintendent Spurgeon.
Thank you, Chairman Ramirez. Been pretty busy. So far, it's going to get even busier with a lot of conversations with some of our LD districts. I've been able to meet with LD 29, LD 27, LD 4, and I have several of those set up for the month of September. Some are individuals, some are groups. And so they're giving me, 20 to 25 minutes to be able to go through the update overview and talk about the bond issue facts. And so they've gone really, really well, been very supportive. In fact, what's really interesting is some folks, again, as I said before, when I first got here, some folks think they know West-MEC, but then when they get done, they really know West-MEC. And so there's just a lot of things that they just didn't know that were a part of what we actually do. And so those conversations have gone extremely well. The next thing is I was able to attend the West-MEC has a breakfast series. I think once a month, and they had one on water this morning, and it was interesting to see all the new data on water and some of the ways in which they're trying to recapture or to keep us in a 100-year supply chain, of water. And she did mention, a couple of them mentioned it's been a really pretty dry year. Last couple of years have been really dry, and Lake Beach, several places are way down. And they talked to specific terms of, the runoff and the melt and how all that happens from Colorado to Canada into California and all those places. And so, they were asked the question, if money was no object, what would you do? And one of the gals said that they got a big allocation last year, but they didn't know what to do with it. They couldn't even spend it all. She said, so next time that happens, they need to be ready to be able to say yes and pull the trigger on doing some things to improve our position for water supply in the state of Arizona. So we know there's other options out there. So they just did a great job of talking to us about what we need to be thinking about and doing, planning for, years down the road for our water supply. We have water, so that's not a big deal. It's just there. Vice Chair Garcia put me in contact with Parker Derman from Phoenix Suns. Had a chance to meet with Parker, and so we're looking to see if there's anything that West might do with the Phoenix Suns. It may be more of a satellite piece, but first time we've had a chance to address one of the professional leagues. Great conversation. He also, Mr. Garcia also put us in contact with a policy advisor from Speaker Montenegro. And he and his family were able to tour the Northwest campus and tour our Northeast campus. And his son was able to pick the new advanced manufacturing. That's one he wanted auto first, but it was full. So now he's in our new advanced manufacturing program at the Northeast campus. And I've texted him twice now, and he said his son is really enjoying that program. Was able to tour the new Goodyear High School. If you haven't seen that, you might want to get a chance. to go tour Agua Fria's new Goodyear High School, which is just on the, just south of 303 and Van Buren, right around that area. Beautiful high school built by Chase Construction and designed by ADM. So very pretty high school. It would be, I think, their fifth or sixth high school in Agua Fria. And they only started the ninth graders this first year. So every year they'll add one more group coming in to eventually in 4 years be a full high school. So awesome tour there. Since the last time we met, I was voted unanimously to be on the Peoria Chamber of Commerce Board. So I'll be attending their meetings, some of their events as well, and got a chance to do what?
Is that good?
It is good. Yeah, yeah, but if you stop and think about it, we have a couple of projects in the Peoria area, which is good, for the bond issue passing. And that's one of the points that I made with them. I said, being in the know and being a part of this community really gives us the insight to be able to share information back and forth of what we know at West-MEC and what they know in Peoria, to be able to talk through some of the items and issues and events and get to know the folks that will be making decisions in and around the chamber area. So that was exciting to hear. And then I had a conversation yesterday with Amcor. Scott Holman is now with Amcor, used to be with TSMC. We continue those conversations around preparing our students as some of those back-end operators or technicians for the packaging industry, the semiconductor space. And so we continue those conversations. Julie Rodriguez and Jared and others have been very instrumental in really helping that conversation along so that we can put ourselves ahead of the game in preparation, because Amcor is going to be hiring hundreds and hundreds of those types. And so we're also in pursuit of a partnership with TSMC, GCU, a couple others in reference to our semiconductor program at the Northeast campus, and now also our automation and robotics program at the Southwest campus, because ADE, the department, has now inserted some new semiconductor standards in the automation and robotics curriculum program. So that will probably become our 1-year program introducing the semiconductor industry to our students, as well as the 2-year advanced manufacturing, energy manufacturing program. So just a lot of great things that are happening. One of the things that I want to do tonight, it's not on the agenda, but it was going to be a part of my superintendent's report, is I've asked Paul Benz to come tonight, and you're the last group that has to listen to the do's and don'ts of bond issues. So we want to make it official. So he spends just a little bit of time. So Paul, you want to come up, spend a little bit of time and tell us what we can and what we can't do, and when we can and when we cannot do this kind. So Paul Benz, thanks.
Tell me all the time what I can do.
My wife too, believe me. Good afternoon, it's good to see you again. My name is Paul Benz. I was here a few months ago to talk about some of the polling and survey research. I'm here to talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts, just about what you can and cannot do over the course of the election. This is, I've briefed most of the employees. This is just one of the biggest things for you to understand is, as board members, you have a slightly different allowances of what you're allowed to do. But one of the questions we always get is, what can our employees do? And what are they allowed to say versus what they are not allowed to say? So I'm going to spend a little bit of time to do that. But I started every one of these presentations the same way. Can someone tell me when the election is this fall? November 4th, bingo, you got it. Can somebody tell me the day that early ballots arrive?
October 5th.
October 5th? Close. I heard October 6th is the day that the voter registration deadline is. Very close. October 8th. So if you leave this meeting with 2 things today, 2 bits of information that you can share in any given situation, that you can share to anyone at any given time, is the fact that the election takes place on November 4th and ballots arrive on October 8th. And every day between October 8th and November 4th is election day. Those are 2 factual bits of information that you can share. What we talk to the employees about, what I'm here to talk to you about, is the fact that you are allowed to educate, but not use resources to influence the outcome of the election. So revised statutes tells us, statutes, as you know, you've read some of them, I'm sure, and looked over time. They don't tell you what you can do. They generally leave it in the listing of what you cannot do. So in this case, you cannot, shall not spend or use district resources for the purposes of influencing the outcome of an election. Influencing the outcome of the election is defined as supporting or opposing a ballot measure, question, or proposition in a manner that is not impartial or neutral. So to use that in another way, probably the more simplified ways, you are absolutely allowed to use district resources to share anything that is factual in nature, impartial, and neutral. So that's where you have, each one of you have one of this handy dandy, everything in this is factual, impartial, and neutral. You can use this in any situation. Everything in here is fair game. It's fair game for the employees to use. It's fair game in any situation for you to share as you're out talking to the community. Yes, ma'am.
What if you wanted to endorse a candidate? Can you do that?
Absolutely. We'll get to that in just a minute here. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, just let me share the prohibited activities for district and staff. Number one is using district resources. That means vehicles, postage, telecommunication, email addresses, phone calls, things like that of that nature. When we cannot use those district materials, those district resources to quote unquote influence the outcome of the election. They also cannot campaign during work hours, and they cannot influence others, which means persuade other employees or constituents to vote while they're on the clock, okay? So one of the things as a board member, you may ask them, hey, I support this and I want to do something. That's where they cannot help you while they're on the clock or using those resources or use their West-MEC email to help you, because these are all those prohibited activities. So it's not necessarily that they don't want to help you, is that they are prohibited from helping you in that particular situation.
Oh, are you gonna run through the percentage of the number of voters?
Sure, I'll do that.
I'll look through the activities and do it as well.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, the election information is always permitted, and here is why it's important. So I'll do it right now. Okay. So do you actually want me to have people stand
Yes.
up? All right. Well, then I'll do the stand up, sit down. We can do it with this selection of the board here. You're in luck, folks. You don't have to stand up and
Yes.
sit down.
Oh, luck.
I'm gonna go ahead and have you all stand up real quick, just real fast. This is a fun little exercise, right? And this is about the polling as well. So when we talk about likely voters, we poll the likely voters as well. So right now you represent the adult population in Maricopa County, the folks that would be eligible to vote in our upcoming election. Okay, this is the portion of everybody who's going to vote. I'm gonna have you three go ahead and sit down.
Is it just mail-in ballots?
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in just a second. So right now, this is the portion of the adult population that's actually registered to vote. 3 out of every 10 adults in Maricopa County who are not registered to vote. That means 30% of the folks that say, oh yes, of course I'm registered to vote, are lying to you. Ma'am, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to sit down as well. This is the portion of the adult population that actually votes in our presidential election, when the president's at the top of the ticket, when you have the massive voter turnout, that everybody votes in all those elections, that 76.7% turnout. Only about half of the adults. So that we get sick of those television commercials, we get sick of all of those things. Just bear in mind, that's only to get about half the adults to vote in that election. Can you please sit down for me real quick? This is the portion of the adult population that will vote in our gubernatorial cycle, in our midterm election right now. Midterm next year, big elections, and lots of folks are already paying attention towards that. Folks have already announced for that. This is about the portion of the adult population that's going to have to sit down. I'm going to have you two go ahead and sit down at this point. This is the portion of the adult population that's going to vote in our November 2025 off-cycle election. Is there, so give them a round of applause for. So that's why it's important to express election information, because the number one reason we have in low voter turnout elections is that they say, I don't know when the election was. I didn't know when, I never heard it. They can get a green envelope, and yes, it will be an all-mail election, which means every single registered voter will receive a ballot in the mail starting on what day?
October 8th.
On October 8th, everyone will start receiving those ballots, but a large portion, only this portion of the room, is guaranteed to turn them in. So that's why it's an obligation of everyone to educate the public and let them know when the election is going to take place, because that's factual in nature. All of these dates are really important. Like we talked about, October 6th is the last day to register. October 8th is the day that ballots arrive. October 28th is the last recommended day to mail. After that day, you should bring it to a polling place, to a drop-off location, to the county to make sure that it counts. And then November 4th, as we talked about, important with the all-mail election. This is not like your tax return. This is not like the IRS. It cannot be postmarked by 7 p.m. on that day. It needs to be physically received. If it is in the mail and does not arrive by November 4th at 7 p.m., it does not count. So that's another piece of factual information that you're absolutely allowed to share within any situation at any time. You can also use resources to register people to vote. Registering people to vote, you can say there's an important election coming up. It's November 4th. We have 2 issues on the ballot. Please register to vote. Everything I said just then is factual in nature, and you're absolutely allowed to say any of those things. You can also give the information. I'm not going to read this to you verbatim, but $450 million bond, and it's Prop 403, and Proposition 406 is a land sale. I will tell you, this is good news to get proposition numbers, because I'm trying to explain to somebody what a West-MEC bond was. or West-MEC land sale. West-MEC land sale is a big tongue twister, is a lot harder to describe. And you have given based on the large size and the regional nature of your district, you're allowed to get proposition numbers. It is a lot easier to express to people with shorthand. It also takes the stigma away from bonds, overrides, and the other school issues that schools struggle with. We talked a little bit about that during the polling presentation, that language is important. So getting to proposition numbers is just actually helpful in shorthand. Have you heard about 403 and 406? Let me tell you what they are, and you can describe those all in that handy dandy. Again, you take this wherever you go. Other permitted activities, you can express your political opinions and participate in elections when the employee is off duty and district resources are not being used. So yes, you can endorse somebody. Yes, you can support the campaign. You can tell people to vote yes. Do that on your own time. You cannot do that as a collective board action. That's basically the big difference between what you can do and what employees. So when you're taking collective board action, that's your on-duty time. That's your using district resources time. So you cannot take it as a collective board, but individually, you can absolutely advocate whatever you want. And you can also use your title as part of your First Amendment speech. So you can say that you're on the board and that you're a director. That's absolutely permitted. You may share your thoughts or opinion. You may advocate for or against the proposals. I have to say that just so we keep it fair and balanced, that you're allowed to do either in any case and in that time. But the big thing to remember as part of the briefing of this is that there's limitations for what the employees can do for you, right? They can give you, if you like factual information, if you like more detail about any of the proposals, they can provide that for you. You can then take that and do with that what you will. But that employee time and when they are providing you that information and how they communicate to, just being sort of mindful about that. Yes, Mr. Karen?
Yeah, when you introduce yourself with your board title to someone, you didn't say, but I'm not speaking on behalf of the board, speaking as a just private citizen.
You can,
And
that's the best way. I mean, like, that's the clearest way. But you say, look, I'm a director on the board, and here's what I think about, this.
I'm speaking for the board, this is just my opinion, what I think.
In my experience, another way that I've seen a lot of people do it is, in my experience on this board, this is what I found to be true. So you can personalize it, then you don't really have to give that caveat, I'm not speaking on behalf of the board. But it is, if you're in a particular speaking scenario or anything else, if you want to be abundantly clear, that is a great way to do it. Just say, look, I'm speaking on myself, on behalf of myself and my experience as a board member, but I'm not speaking on behalf of the board.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Yep, absolutely. Any other questions?
I want to just back up when ballots go out. What about for military overseas? Do they send those out early? Because they take 21 days to get to where they're serving in Europe or somewhere.
Yes, and that's why everything's backed up further than it is. I don't know the exact date of that.
But they're accommodated earlier.
Correct. Yes, they're accommodated and will receive those prior to that time. But the thing I like to say is you need to tell people about the election, tell people about the election, tell people about the election, and then they say, I got it, I got it, I got it. I understand there's an election coming up. You need to tell them 3 more times. Otherwise, it's gonna be up to these two, and hopefully they're in your corner, but the only way to make sure that you have more people voting in this election is to tell more people about it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That concludes my report, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the governing board. Mr. Steins, you have anything to share? Any updates?
I see school, sir, we got almost a full house today, but I don't have anything else.
Anything else? Thank you. Mr. Molina?
I had a nice vacation
That's good.
Board business.
and the Canadian Rockies are spectacular. Okay, next. I attended the Peoria Chamber meeting with Superintendent Spurgeon. And one of the things that kind of jumped out at me was that the board members of the chamber were really surprised at what West-MEC actually does as opposed to what they thought West-MEC did. So it's all an education process. There's a lot of education that needs to continue to take place. So it's a good thing that he's on there because then they'll go out and talk to others about it. So I think that's really good. I also had the opportunity to go visit Northeast Campus. I think it was the second day that school got back into session and walked around and attended several of the classes that were in session. I was duly impressed with the appearance of the students. And it's very gratifying to see students that appear to be there to be sponges and to really absorb all this information. And then yesterday I had the opportunity to attend Northwest Campus and walked around and visited all the different classrooms and labs and so forth. And it was enlightening in a couple of different ways, and I'll have further discussions about that with the superintendent as well as others. But yeah, it was both of them were very good sessions.
Probably about the only thing I really did that was positive is go ahead and send my statement in for the bond.
Awesome. Thank you for that. It's fine.
Well, she said that, I did it too. It was very simple.
I did that for you.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
I also toured the Northeast Campus, got to see our new facilities with Dr. Spurgeon. The welding facility, I think, looks amazing. The welding, the advanced manufacturing, and then we also saw the EV bay. But I think the welding one is the one that was impressed me the most.
Make you want to go back to school?
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Close.
Close.
Thank you, Mr. Stride. Security?
Dr. Spurgeon, on our tour that we did, really good tour, very impressive, and also I did my letter as well.
Awesome. It looks like most of us did our homework then. Yeah, I revised that thing like 10 times. I don't know how many times I kept rewording it, but yeah, I did that. And then I'm driving past the Southeast campus construction site, so it's cool to see the progress.
It's vertical down. It's great.
Yeah, then what else did I do? Met with Ryan French, went over the budget, and that's about it. Thank you. All right, call to the public. Do we have anyone from the public speaking today? No one on the list, okay. Second call to the public. Third call? No one? Okay. Moving on. Recognitions and celebrations. So it looks like we have. Seth, Bill's Amy.
Good evening, Dr. Spurgeon. Good evening, members of the board. It is my pleasure and honor to recognize Mrs. Antoinette Guzman as our Adult Education Employee of the Month. Mrs. Antoinette Guzman is the Assistant Campus Administrator for the Central Campus. She came to us about 3 years ago as we were going through various transitions with instructors. And since then, that has not changed. She has probably transitioned probably between 14-ish to 16-ish instructors in 3 years. Many of them are out of aviation. We typically have 3 teachers. So if there's 3 different rotations, that's definitely a big deal to go through those transitions. She comes from a dental background, so she had to like go knee deep into aviation, learn aviation to be able to provide that assistance to the aviation instructors. She's learned precision manufacturing and she's currently learning welding technology. So we thank her for everything that she does for West-MEC, for our success, the success of the programs, as well as the success of all of our students. So thank you, and please join me in a round of applause to Ms. Yes. Is right there. Oh, okay. Look, you get a pin. And you are also presented with a certificate as well as a letter signed by Dr. Spurgeon that will give you a frame. We can put it up in your office. And then I think we take a picture unless you want to share any words with the board.
Yeah,
I would like to thank West-MEC. I've been in the field for 15 years, 12 years in the dental field. Aviation, welding, and precision is a different world for me. But I have support with, of course, Lisette and my campus administrator, Mr. Troy Gabaldon. It was really a hard work, but it pays off. After 3 years. Thank you so much, West-MEC, for giving me an opportunity.
No point, no point, no. More of you on that side than this.
Turn sideways.
Yes.
All right, 1, 2, 3. And then one more. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, Antoinette.
It's impressive going from dental, aviation to welding.
I know.
It's like, wow. Very different fields, yes.
Well, your teeth then.
Yeah.
Great.
Precision.
Yeah.
Ramirez, members of
Yes.
the board, I'm excited to continue our celebration. We got lots of celebrations tonight, so I'm excited to continue our celebrations. With first recognizing HCTE AZ, as you guys know, is the big conference every summer. CTE conference bringing together everyone from around the state, and ACTE recognizes several awards. And one of the most prestigious and competitive awards is the Program of the Year category. The Program of the Year, again, this is a statewide award with people from all corners of the state that submit for this award. But we are happy to recognize tonight that our physical therapy team, JD and Jamel, we have physical therapy on 2 campuses, so this is a program award that they were recognized as the state program of the year. We got nice, they're excited about that picture there for you. But truly the reason they were recognized for this award is that since they've been here in just a couple short years, they've really taken our physical therapy program really to the next level. Achievement recognized in our program assessments, credentials, like a 50% increase in the number of students earning high value credentials in the program. And really have been a model of collaboration, I think is one of the biggest strengths that they have, really working as a team, utilizing each other to make the program better for students. So congratulations.
Speech. We were actually talking about this today when we were collaborating. I think, Dr. Spurgeon, he sets a very direct line of what we need to do here at West-MEC. We need to be the best, so we strive for that. Dr. Parsons, Ms. Holly Medina, and Mike Johnson, being principals and assistant principals, been extremely supportive to us. And we've worked at other places before, and it's a breath of fresh air, and it allows you to be innovative, and it allows you to keep grinding and stay hungry to keep doing better and better and better. So we're both very thankful for it. He doesn't like to speak. I hate technology, so he helps me with technology, and I do the speaking. So. And we're gonna take our wives to dinner right now. We're gonna thank them for supporting us for the last. We're having a good day. Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you, guys. That collaboration actually is in each other's strengths. So yeah, really excited to recognize them.
Couple other awards, not necessarily here tonight, but we just in your packets that we wanted to recognize. Also, several of our member districts were recognized down at ACTEAZ as well. And I won't read through all of those, but you can see our member districts also creating high quality programs out there for students in satellite programs that are recognized because of those achievements. In career counseling, administrative assistant, just several ways that our West-MEC umbrella was really recognized down at ACTEAZ, which is not unique. That's something that we do consistently. In addition, also wanted to recognize some students tonight in our CTSOs. Just giving you a quick summary. CTSO season wrapped up over the summer as well. As you guys remember it. As you guys are familiar, our CT students compete at the regional level, qualify at the regional level, then to compete at state, and then if they qualify, they compete at nationals. And so you see a summary there from all of our campuses, but we have representatives competing at the state level, 19 students at Central qualified and competed at state, with one student going to nationals. Northeast campus had 34 students competing at state with 20 going to nationals. Northwest had 58 students compete at state and with 20 of those going to nationals as well. And Southwest was 51 students at state and 12 of those students going to nationals. So truly impressive for students to get to that level, competing both statewide and at the national level to show off their technical skills and the things they're learning in their programs. As well as their leadership and professional skills. So really a kudos to teachers like those two gentlemen that you saw here tonight who shaped those CTSO experiences, prepare those students for those opportunities. So we just wanted to recognize that as well tonight. Thank you.
Question, Mr. Guy. Just a quick question. I'm curious, at these competitions, do we have companies show up, like potential employers, engineering firms, et cetera?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. A lot of the competitions, the ADE works really hard to get business and industry to sponsor and be judges of these competitions. So yes, some more than others, but absolutely they're working as judges in the competitions, helping design the competitions themselves, sponsoring some of the equipment and supplies. But also those that are smart are there because they're getting to the kind of pick of the best in those competitions. So I would say, our trades programs, welding, very well represented with industry. All of them are, but those traditionally get a lot of good representation. So yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's good that they're interacting with students and they get that exposure. The students get that exposure.
Yeah.
Great, thanks. We have Littleton Elementary School District, Dr. Lisa Aid, did I pronounce it correct?
That is. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Superintendent Spurgeon. Before we begin tonight, I'd like to take a moment to recognize and welcome our new superintendent, Dr. Lewis Lafitte Jr., who is here with us this afternoon. Under Dr. Lafitte's leadership, we are embracing this year's theme, Building Tomorrow Together, a vision that perfectly aligns with the opportunities we are continuing and creating through our partnership with you. Littleton Elementary School District is transforming how we prepare students for the future and has opened doors to strengthening our partnerships across communities. By connecting academic learning to real-world applications, we're helping students explore career pathways, build practical skills, stay motivated, and remain future-focused. This partnership supports our mission to be leaders in learning, caring, and growing. Because every school in our district benefits from this partnership, nearly 2,500 students in grades 6 through 8 have been directly impacted. In addition, through school-wide showcase days, hundreds of younger students have had a preview of the opportunities that await them as they transition into middle school. With 8 schools participating, it was difficult to choose which experiences to highlight. However, we selected 3 schools that truly exceeded expectations by extending their partnerships to other businesses and organizations. And today, we're proud to showcase Collier Business Academy for Financial Literacy, who has centered its efforts on financial literacy and entrepreneurship Using West-MEC funding to invest in business simulation software, the ETM system for real-world money management, and a field trip to Junior Achievement's Capstone Finance Park. These experiences gave students hands-on exposure to budgeting, saving, and financial planning. All of this was parlayed into participation in the Arizona Council on Economic Education Stock Market Game, in which they took first place in the middle school division. This program reinforced core academic skills while introducing students to long-term investing and financial decision-making. Looking ahead, Collier will launch a student-run business at the school's farmers market, where students will manage a hydroponic farm and sell their products to bring last year's business plans to life. All of this was a direct result of your investment of just under $50,000. Estrella Vista STEM Academy, whose principal, Ms. Samantha Armstrong, is here with us this evening, supporting me as I talk about all the work that she does, and she knows much more about it than I do, has made remarkable strides in STEM education through its strategic use of your funding. The school invested in robotics kits, lab equipment, safety gear, and professional development for STEM instructors, all of which have supported a hands-on engineering focus where students design, build, iterate, and refine their projects. Students benefit from immersive engineering experiences that foster creativity and problem solving. These resources laid the foundation for Estrella Vista's advanced partnership with NASCAR. Last year, students participated in STEM Fest, an event made possible by the supplies and materials purchased with West-MEC dollars. Building on that success, Estrella Vista is now collaborating with NASCAR to help design and pilot curriculum that will be used statewide, making it the only school in Arizona currently contributing to this national initiative. The curriculum is already in use in Chicago public schools and parts of Florida, but Estrella Vista's unique integration model sets it apart. And this entire effort was made possible through your investment of just under $25,000. Finally, Trace Rios Service Academy has leveraged its partnership with you to build a strong foundation in service learning and public safety career pathways. The school invested in CPR and first aid certification, programs and equipment for service learning projects, helping students gain early exposure to careers in fire and EMS, law enforcement, the armed forces, and education. Through immersive experiences like Kids at Hope Day, career tours, and classroom presentations, students engaged directly with professionals and began shaping their own career journeys. In collaboration with West-MEC, Trace Rios helped develop the Public Safety Law Enforcement curriculum alongside Arizona Business and Education Coalition and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department. This curriculum has been adopted by the Arizona Department of Education and will soon be available online via Edge Factor. The school's drone club, supported by West-MEC and local law enforcement, has certified students in recreational drone use. Using My Future AZ and the ACED program, students created portfolios, resumes, and participated in mock interviews, which provided opportunities to students to actively engage in their plans for the future. These efforts reflect the power of partnership and the impact of strategic investment in preparing students for high-demand careers. Future projects include the construction of an outdoor training space to support the physical skills needed to be successful in these service careers. All of this was made possible through your investment of just over $14,000. These schools exemplify how our middle school students are empowered to begin designing their futures through career exploration and skill development. And who better to explain these benefits? The students themselves. Please enjoy this short video that offers a glimpse into the importance of our partnership and proof that our students are not just learning and growing, they're leading as we build tomorrow together. My tech guy's doing this for me.
In Collier Business Academy, we experience incredible opportunities, all made possible by West-MEC. Rank funds are Coyote Corner Rewards, where we spend Coyote cash we've earned from showing great citizenship, working hard, and others.
Another huge part that West-MEC has given us is the power to grow and sell our own products. They funded a hydroponic unit and start up pod. Thank you, West-MEC, for all that you do.
At Collier Business Academy, West-MEC is more than just a partner. They are the reason that our vision is coming to life. They have provided funding for every part of this project, from junior achievement to our hydroponics to our Coyote Cash. Thank you, West-MEC, for all you have done for our students and our teachers. We look forward to a wonderful 25-26.
Here at Israel Vista STEM Academy, we have a strong passion for activities related to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have followed this with our activities with other organizations, things such as the ASU West Campus trip and NASCAR collaboration event.
I learned how to build a car at ASC West. The supplies that I used to build a car was cardboard, straws, bottle caps, and balloons. And we had an event at the school how to build cars. When we were racing our cars, we had a lot of fun experience how to build cars.
Without this generosity, we will not be able to continue this amazing learning activities.
I'm excited to partner with West-MEC in developing our campus. What's great about this is it also gives students an opportunity to understand more about work-based learning. With work-based learning, students are able to put what they have discovered in research into practice.
Here at Treasure Hills, we celebrated Kids at Home Day with the support of West-MEC. The entire school get to participate in hands-on experiences. We are so thankful for our partner, West-MEC, for helping give us these career experiences of service.
So thank you for your continued support in making these opportunities possible, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have for us.
Curious about the hydroponics program. What are you guys doing with that right now?
So that is, we got to get all of the supplies set up and we did the business plan last year. So they just shipped in at the beginning of the school year. And so there is an area that will be created to do the hydroponic farming in connection with teaching about the science standards behind that and working through that through one of their special area classes. And so we'll be glad to update you on what that looks like. But right now, I haven't seen it, so I just know how excited they are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Pendergast Elementary School District, Ms. Sarah Pearson. Welcome.
Chairman, board, community, thank you for having me here today. Before I begin, I would like to thank also our joint executive director, curriculum and innovation at Pendergast, Abraham Gonzalez, for coming out to support. We're excited to share some of the work we've done this year in Pendergast because of your support to our district. So some of the recent work that we've had includes our Chief Science Officer program. We have the largest Chief Science Officer program in the entire state with 44 students involved in it each year. And you can see one of the top pictures there. We had one of our students, our 8th grade students, won an award at the Stinnies this year for the most sustainable and innovative action plan. He had a really cool showcase where students designed different outfits, had a fashion show all out of recycled materials, and the whole school was wild about it. It was so much fun. The kids really learned that STEM and innovation and all of those things can come from anywhere, but we can recycle, we can reuse, and he really talked about the importance of sustainability there. See those outfits. Oh my goodness, I should have added more pictures. Then we also use your generous funds for our ASU prep digital support. And so we have students in middle school that are taking high school credits, either algebra or geometry. And we use some of your funds to support with tutoring those students to ensure that they are successful in obtaining those credits so that they can move on to taking more advanced mathematics in high school for those career pathways that require higher mathematics. Additionally, our Fuse in our maker spaces is one of the areas that we use funding for, where students are exposed to different STEM opportunities in these Fuse and Makerspace labs, where they're learning to do different engineering, design, computer science, and there's a lot of choice and voice in what they do there. And we're expanding those by implementing PBL and being purposeful with different projects they're doing, and then using the makerspace to then make their ideas come to life. Additionally, we have a very large robotics program in our district. This last year, we had 32 teams competing in the West Valley Robotics League, with quite a few actually moving on to state this year. We had 8 teams move to state and compete at a state level. And wow, those kids at a state level are really showing some really cool computer science and engineering skills. So the robotics program, we're going to continue doing to help get our kids excited about STEM and learning those skills that they'll need. Additionally, we have our TechSmart partnership. I know that TechSmart is one of the programs that we use here in West-MEC as well. And via DePauw's Computer Science Academy, we have students coding from kindergarten to 8th grade every day. Now, they're not using TechSmart in kindergarten. They are doing, codable and more developmentally appropriate. But in middle school, we have students doing TechSmart and learning Python and all of the things, so that when they transition to high school, they're already ahead of the game on their computer science skills. And then our career camp. So we represented 47 students this year at the West-MEC Career Camp. And total, we've sent 272 students to the West-MEC Career Camp, which is the largest representation. Rashawn tells me. My stepdaughter actually went this summer, and I just want to shout out to your teachers and everyone who planned that camp. It was incredibly engaging, and my stepdaughter had the most fun time, and she's planning on going to West-MEC program when she's a junior, hoping that she follows the pathway there. So our goals for this coming year are, we want to expand access to hands-on learning through our makerspaces and Fuse. We want to continue to promote that creativity, design, and problem solving. And we're really working on project-based learning and getting our teachers to understand that we have to involve our students in projects, and then using those maker spaces to make them come to life. Additionally, we'd like to grow our leadership opportunities in STEM by increasing participation in our 8th grade Chief Science Officer program. Our chief science officers were creating different things like career days and having, plans where the whole school can get involved in getting everyone excited about STEM. So that's one of our really big initiatives to support with this money, so we can get all of the kids excited about STEM and different career choices. Additionally, we're going to continue to support that academic acceleration with the ASU digital prep for algebra and geometry for our advanced math. And then increasing real world career exposure through West-MEC summer camps, Edge Factor, and Transfer VR simulations. And then last, we'd like to provide more professional learning for our counselors by sending them to the ASCA conference, so we can support stronger academic and career guidance and help to develop them so they can support our students in understanding the different career pathways that exist. So your generous budget, this is how we have allocated our budget for this year. Our makerspace and Fuse takes the largest portion of the budget. Our chief science officer is representing about 15,000 of that. The ASU digital prep is coming in just a little over 7,000. We spend 1,000 on the summer camp, Transfer VR is 32,000. And then we have our ASCA conference at 8, almost 9,000, and then additional STEAM supplies for our maker spaces and our hands-on learning is about 6,000. So I wanted to just go into a little bit more on our career exploration tools. Edge Factor is one that we started piloting last year, and they let us pilot it at 2 schools, and we found it to be a really cool platform where students can explore thousands of career-related films, videos, lesson plans. They have this storytelling kind of theme to it, and it focuses on their awareness and readiness. They get to see careers in action, and it connects them to different organizations and other people in the field actually in the area as well. So it also includes gamified learning, and then it also has ECAP, or the early ECAP exploration for our students to be able to start looking at their own interests and finding those career pathways that match their own interests. The other one is Transfer VR, and Pendergast, we're doing a lot of innovation around virtual reality. And one of the virtual reality opportunities we're doing is Transfer VR. And so our counselors use these headsets to have our students explore virtual reality careers. So for example, you can go be a surgeon and you're doing knee surgery and you can hear the saws and all of the amazing things. Yeah, definitely don't want to be a surgeon after doing that one.
Yeah. Is it animated or are these real?
What was that?
Is it animated or are these real
Like,
live?
it's like splashing. It was
Wow.
Very good.
I was fascinated.
It was very visual, or like you're climbing up the poles, like the power lines, and seeing what it's like to service the power lines. And so kids get to select what the experiences they want to do in there and see if it's something that they're interested in. So it's that immersive environment, helps them build skills, and then also the career awareness. So some fun things that they're doing with career exploration and experiential learning. So does anyone have any questions for me?
I have to say, this is the first time I've seen a grammar school give high school credits, and I think that's wonderful. What kind of students are you seeing there to taking advantage of that?
So we've been had a partnership with ASU Digital Prep for quite some time. I've only been in Pendergast for 1 year, so I'm not sure exactly how long. But we've been sending students to get that credit for some time, and this year our criteria was they needed to be highly proficient in math on the state assessment and then proficient in ELA as well. And so we're selecting them and then we offer it to them, but we let them know this is a commitment that happens outside of your regular school day. And so it does take a little grit, it takes some perseverance and some motivation if you want to, be able to be successful in this program. And some students choose to opt out and they're like, no, this isn't for me. I have too many after school activities I'm involved in. And most students like to opt in because they like the idea of getting some high school credit when they're in middle school.
Nice. Offered at the middle school, or is it offsite?
So it is virtual, so they have a 1-hour class meeting that they do during school. And so that let's say it's Wednesday at 1 o'clock, they'll go to the library, do that virtual meeting in Zoom. And then the rest of the work is asynchronous in Canvas.
Here. Thanks.
Good job. Thank you.
Now the back to school report, Mr. Guy.
All right, Chairman Ramirez, members of the board, Dr. Spurgeon, happy to be back up here again to give you a little a brief back to school report. This time of the year, we always come to you just to give you a snapshot of data, where we're at as we kick off the new school year. So as you guys mentioned earlier in some of your own updates, we are off and running already in week 3 of programs for the school year, which is kind of crazy. But it's been a very successful start to the school year. due to the hard work and effort of everyone that sits behind you here and out on our campuses that have prepared for that start of the school year. It doesn't just happen when you get to see those students that show up and are engaged and learning. I wish it just happened automatically, but it does not. It's the effort of lots of preparation, getting the right students in the right programs, filling those seats, and then, of course, our teachers and campus leaders preparing the environment for those students to be able to learn and grow. So students are highly engaged, making things happen out on campuses every single day. We'll go through the, again, snapshot report here of some data. I'm not going to go through the entire thing. You see the increase in enrollment, which is obviously great to see. A lot of that's a reflection of the opening of our Career Academy at Agua Fria and those programs, as well as the two mentioned earlier at our Northeast campus with our advanced manufacturing and our welding program. So it's been so exciting to get those two new sites up and running. New site, one expanded site at our Northeast campus up and running with those programs, as to see students who would not have had an opportunity before now in a seat. So very, very exciting, very successful start with enrollment.
Yes, we've got 3,100 students. What's our maximum? What can we?
Yes, great question. So right now we're at 90% program capacity, which is the highest we've been, meeting that. We've got 90% of what's that? So we have some programs where we still have some available seats that.
With waiting list,
And a lot with waiting lists. So it's, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do have some programs that, the newer programs like advanced manufacturing is a good example, our automation robotics. You know, it takes some time to, the student interest and education of parents to understand those programs, but we work hard every single year to maximize those opportunities and grow opportunities for students. So we're excited to see those numbers. A couple other things I wanted to highlight. You guys have seen some of the other data metrics and celebrations, but one thing worth noting is the industry ready credentials being at 94.7%. Again, it's a high mark that we've set again this year. Those are students 1 year out of a program that we track, because some students continue to earn those credentials, and those high value credentials are not just, those are those really ones that have been identified by our advisory councils as the most important credentials. 94, almost 95% of our students are earning those. It's been a tremendous effort. You see, just since 2021, 22 at 87% to where we're at now is just a tremendous, reflection of the hard work, but concerted efforts around a common goal under Dr. Spurgeon's leadership. So fantastic thing to highlight. Last thing I wanted to point out is positive placement. Again, a new benchmark that we've set, positive placement. You see on that chart where 93.49 of our students are positively placed. And then you can see that data back, the breakdown there of what those students are doing. So as you can see there in that chart, 65% of our students, whether it's education, pursuing post-secondary education and working at the same time, or full-time in post-secondary education, is 65% of our students that have been placed out there. So about 30% go right into the workforce. So it's just a good piece of data that we always look at. There's still some perceptions out there that all these are programs that students are not going to post-secondary education, which is just not true. Students are going, a large majority of them, in one form or another, whatever that post-secondary education looks like for them. So, but just a tremendous effort to even get students positively placed, but to be able to get the data from students who have left us is, again, tremendous work to our career services team, our campus career coaches, our teachers. Everyone works together to put that data together. So just those are just a couple of highlights I wanted to point out there, but in a nutshell, we could have done this in celebrations, because really everything's up and it's all good is I guess my summary.
So I got a question on, by positive placement, do you mean employed?
Yes. So positive placement, so 93.49%. what we consider a positive placement is either education and employment,
Oh, okay.
education, employed, or military or mission. So if
okay.
they meet those categories, they're considered a positive.
One of those five, okay.
Yes. And those break down the percentages below that 93 of how that breaks down.
I see, okay.
That's great.
I guess I would raise the question, and I think we've talked about this before, is 6 in 10 jobs do not require a college degree. When I see that 65% are going off to post-secondary education, it feels like 2/3 of our effort is not where it should be. So what can we do to get that employed where they don't go into education?
That's a national thing.
But what can we do? Because it's the kid that isn't gonna go to college that we really need to help.
Yeah, they're wasting.
They're wasting their time, they're living with mom and dad playing video games, we miss them.
Figure out what they're gonna do.
How can we get more of those kids? Cause that's really, I think, the challenge. And
Yeah.
Mr. Garcia, we've had this conversation in previous board meetings.
Yeah, so I think that you guys aren't wrong, but you gotta understand too, the programs are lateral to the community colleges, am I right?
Yes.
And so now that law was just passed out of the community college cannot have a course direction, it goes to the university, is that correct? So it does align with continuing education, but you can't really corner a student into one or the other. You give them all the options, but a successful option of a career pathway that gives them clarity, but to get from point A to point B. So if it's employment, it's clarity, point A to point B. If it's military, point A to point B. If it's university, because it's all tied together, it's point A to point B, which is why the programs align directly with the academic institutions.
And within that data, apologize, but Mr. Stricker, within that data, within that 65%, to point out a lot, that education consider, a lot of our students go on to a community college. We have a lot of one-to-one programs where students have finished half of an associate's degree with us or close to it. So they may be pursuing that second half of that, or the community college has a lot of certificate-based programs now where students are going specifically to earn a second credential or participate in that arena. So that 65% is not reflective of going straight to a university.
So Mrs. Strunkel, let me show you something real quick. So this 22%, or I mean, 8 or 10 years ago, that was a terminal number. Where you were going to either finish your 2-year or finish your 4 degree. Now, as Mr. Guy said, there's so many different options for additional certificates. It's kind of a number that's misunderstood because we can't tell you if it's a full 2-year program or a 1-to-1 or only a certificate or a stackable credential. So that's something we might want to take a look at and see if we can separate that out. We think more of our students are going into the world of work looking at, okay, if I go in right now, if I did one more thing, can I go in at a different level and make more money? So I think right now they're starting to look at what are those options for me to not start at the very bottom, maybe pick up some extra funding, but you're correct.
Actually, what I was gonna say is that we're hearing that a lot as well, is that, so like, for instance, taking in context, if you're gonna be, you went to school to be a mechanic and you worked on engines, small engine repair, but the employer that you walked into to be a mechanic said, well, I really need a supervisor too, so if you can go to night classes, we're gonna allow you to step it up, even though you're a young person, you've already done all this stuff already. So we're seeing students that come in immediately lateral. They grow so fast because of all the training they got at our CTE school. So the advantage that it's a baseline, lower level type opportunity is gone. The students are like stellar and they walk in and they just launch. And the employers are engaged, so they're allowing them to launch, which includes additional college, because you're not gonna be at a low level forever. You're gonna have to excel. And sometimes the employers, to excel, you're gonna need some paper beyond the credential.
And I still think there's a lot of work to be done at the post-secondary level. You and I both know that. I think the whole board knows that. But I think we're at the best point we've probably ever been in our history as offering opportunities that are purposeful. If that makes sense.
And we're not unique to that dilemma of getting an education and certification and then them not using that immediately. Within the last 10 days, I spoke to a young astronomical or aeronautical engineer who was ready to refer him, and I talked to him for half an hour, telling him about this opportunity with a company that's looking for an aeronautical engineer. And he opted to go to work for his father, who's a general contractor. So I kind of asked, you know, why did you go to 4 years and become a aeronautical engineer only to go back into the construction arena? Says, well, someday we're gonna have to build stuff in space.
That's smart.
It makes sense to me, maybe not, but okay.
And that's why it doesn't make sense to me. It's like I want to catch all those kids that they're not going anywhere.
But I wonder too, how many of these kids start like that? And then after a program, they see the opportunities and then they're like, whoa, well, I'm not gonna stop there, I'm gonna keep going. So we can't just, well, we're gonna boot you out because you decided to go to college. I wonder how many of those kids changed their mind and decided to go on to college after.
I've heard that time and time again since I've been here over and over. The other thing, Mr. Strong, I want to mention is, you know, as we continue, you know, once we get through the bond issue and hopefully we get some support there. As we get our programs closer to students who who currently can't access us. Because as we've mentioned to before, as you've also mentioned, I think the board knows, is that the students sometimes that really need us can't get to us.
Transportation.
Yeah.
So once we're able to do that, I think you're gonna see the numbers shift a little because we're gonna be getting into the demographic where students need to get out, and get a job right now. And their education may come at a later time, starting their work for the first couple of years to support themselves or a family or whatever. So I think you're gonna see these numbers fluctuate just a little bit.
I would agree.
Closer.
Great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great closure.
That's a good spot.
Sure.
If you look at that, like 10 miles is the magic number, it seems, if it's within 10 miles, much better. Representation.
Absolutely. You're correct. And better partnerships would also help that as well. You know, more partnerships, more business and industry, working with our students in the labs, that helps as well. But Mr. Chairman Ramirez, you're absolutely correct. If I've heard it once, I've heard it 50, 60, 70 times from parents like, you know, my son or daughter had no direction, no vision, had no interest in post-secondary studies. They finished West-MEC and they found out because we articulated all of our pathways.
Yeah.
So now each student knows when they start, before they start the program, if I choose to go to the world of work, here's who's partnered with West-MEC. If I choose to go to Maricopa County or UTI, everything's all been articulated out so that now kids know and understand what the next step
Yeah.
can be. And before
Especially
they
with
didn't
those
know that.
career trees and
Yes.
the job descriptions, the salary descriptions and all
Yes.
that.
Just, you know, the more you know, the more you know.
All right. Next item. A motion to approve consent agenda items, F1 through F14. We need to make a motion first. Someone needs to make a motion to approve consent agenda items as presented and or amended.
So approved.
Second.
So mentioned, so motion.
Okay, so we have a motion. Now we have a second. Now we're into discussion. Yes.
I'd like to pull F3, 4, 5, and 8.
3, 4, 8. Question.
So currently, you are good with that removal? I guess, do we have to make a motion or can we just?
Yeah.
Amend the motion to.
Amend the
pull
motion.
5 and 8? Mr. Molina, are you good to amend the motion to pull 3, 4, 5, and 8? Cause I'll move the second.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Okay, we'll call the question. Yeah. Okay, already clicked. Are we missing anyone? And the winner is. It's taking a while. Process.
What happened to technology?
Yeah. There we go. Okay, 7 yes. All right, motion passes. All right. Yes. Oh. First one. No, okay.
So is it possible to group 3, 4, and 5 together? They all look like transportation.
Be great.
All right, and discuss 3, 4, and 5.
So I was just wondering whether, the differences in the price for each campus for Gila Bend, for Notaburg, and for, Dysart. Is it like a mileage thing or what?
Jared's been working with it. It's really about how many students they transport and those, so.
Thank you for the question, Ms. Busum. Chairman Ramirez, yes, these transportation agreements have been, looking at the districts individually based on their needs, is where that amount has come from. It's important to note, just as a last year, over the last year and a half, we had our transportation grant, as you guys were aware of. So these, transportation agreements have existed, the same agreements last year. The difference is we were able to pay for those out of that grant. Those grant funds have now run out. And so our commitment back to our districts, although we couldn't continue all the other means of transportation, these districts here have committed their own resources. They're transporting the students. We're paying for a portion of the salary of the driver. So Dysart, as you see, is the largest based on they're transporting a lot of students throughout the day to our Northwest campus versus Gila Bend, for example, as you can imagine, a much smaller population in a van. So that's the difference.
And I understood that this money comes out of that fund. So it really, it's not additional district resources.
We're in the satellite funding.
That is correct.
Any other questions?
I make a motion, we group 3, 4, and 5 together.
I'll second.
Call the question.
You second, Robert? Yes. Okay, can we just hold on all three since I haven't been there as all three?
I think they group them to approve the 3, 4, and 5 together. It's almost like a secondary consent. All three grouped together.
Motion passes. Move on to number 8. F8, that is
So.
okay, personnel.
Yeah.
Personnel items. Questions on that one?
Okay, yeah, I do have questions on the resignations. First one, I'd like to know why they resigned.
Ms. Fulsom, I'm going to respectfully ask to have a conversation outside of a public meeting because there were some personal situations around that. I'd be happy to speak with you over the phone and give you that information.
All right, and then there was one for a reduction in workforce. Is that project search, is that being discontinued or what's going on with that?
No, not at all. Unfortunately, all of the costs for Project Search have to be, we can't use M&O funds. And they lost 2 enrollees or enrollments, so that caused a reduction in the amounts that they had of money that they had available. So they had to make the tough decision to reduce one of the FTEs so that all of the costs would be covered.
And then we had another aviation instructor that bit the dust.
Unfortunately, yes, but we were able to fulfill it, so.
Yeah, and then last month, it was said that we have a 97 employee retention rate. But I'm not coming up with that, you know, we've got approximately about 210 employees, correct?
Correct.
So that would mean that, the average attrition rate is 10%, that would mean 21 employees. So far, we have 30 that have gone since January. 18 are kind of concerning to me. 4 were contracts that were not renewed, 5 resigned, and 9 were all for personal reasons. So I'm not sure exactly where that 97% came from, but that doesn't seem to be, because right now, with all 30, and that's at 14.28%, not 3.
So I'd be happy to go over those numbers with you. The 97% would have depended on when I pulled the information. So depending on where we were and who had resigned.
That just happened last month.
So the 97% that was quoted to you, Mrs. Blusom, if that was before, so I think that was back.
We drifting from the agenda item though? It's a good question, but I think it sounds
And
like
I'd be
this.
you and I can go over those numbers, is it, and we'll make sure that they're correct.
I'd like to be included in that conversation.
Absolutely.
And so I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve.
I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, call the question. Listen, any further discussion? No? Okay, call the question, please. We're in action discussion then. Oh, we didn't have the results. Oh, the results already posted? You get the results.
Yeah, session comes through.
That's me, I'm listening.
Yeah, okay. Motion passed. And then 8 passed, okay?
G3 off.
All right, so moving on to action item G1. Approval of superintendent goals for 2025-2026 school year and the evaluation tool. Mr. Dr. Scott Spurgeon.
Yes, thank you very much. So you've already seen the 3 goals of the top 3 are the ones that are similar from the previous years. We just raised the percentages of the achievement levels. So for those 3, the 2 new ones that that I put on there was stemmed from the conversation we had last month. And so everybody had a chance to kind of see those. The first one being Richard Garcia wanted to do a survey faculty and staff for improvement purposes, for feedback, for feelings and thoughts, and for a way for us to continue to get better. That would be goal number 4. And then goal number 5 would be for us to work on digitizing some of our systems and processes. And I took Mr. Straka's advice, and so we're going to look at rewriting the brand new evaluation tool for administrators, exempt staff, and then digitizing both of those through Frontline, as well as our classified staff evaluations, and digitizing those within the classified staff evaluations will be done the following year for revision. Keep in mind that if you don't keep your evaluation tool up to date, ours is probably 8 or 10 years old, maybe longer. So now we're going to be able to revise back to new expectations, as well as align to our new performance pay goal structure, so that it's seamlessly aligned. And I was talking to Mr. Straka, and Mr. Straka always asks me the great questions. Sometimes I'm like, where do these questions come from? So It's like, what's the benefits? And so I asked Kathy Mays to take a look at it. I mean, it's probably gonna save our administrators our first year or the supervisor that evaluates, 60 to 80 hours of just work time and being able to do something online because there's multiple forms. You got PDF. Is it fillable? Is it not fillable? What attachments do you have? So now everything's gonna be seamless within the system. And so what's good about it is that you can take the district goals and align that to the actual plan itself. You can align those goals to the superintendent's goals, to the tactical goals, to the actual teacher goals, all the way down to the performance 201 goals. When you digitize things, when it's not digitized, it's all paper pencil. So you're printing 3 copies, you're making staples, you're making people sign it. We're beyond that. We've been beyond that probably for the last 6 or 8 years. And so this is just an example of us, being able to do that. One of the things I want to mention is sometimes folks would say, well, why do we keeping the same 3 goals? Well, if they weren't goals, we're going to do the work anyway. Because if you look up there, the credentials is one of the number one things that we do. The TSA results that are the accountability piece those results go back to our partner districts and satellites to help with their A through F system. And I have to say this every time I talk about that, 20% of the A through F accountability system is predicated on the work that we do in career and technical education. And so all the positive things that you see up on the screen for like the back to scoreboard, all those positive numbers go back to the home high schools to help them in their progress towards getting that A score. And then if you looked at Mr. Guy shared with you, we set a brand new district goal for placement at 93.49%, which is probably better than anybody you'll ever see. And I think that's a direct reflection from this career literacy plans that every one of our students that leave our programs with, because now they have a step-by-step process to walk it out. So they know exactly what they want to do, just like we talked about, whether it's a stackable credential or another program, or to go to work and get a credential at the same time. I think our students now know that West-MEC has all these articulated agreements. And everybody knows what post-secondary pathways that we have partnerships with. And now they know exactly what their plan is, and they're able to talk intelligently at the dinner table about what their next steps are, even before they apply at West-MEC. So I think we're doing the right work. You saw the goals. I mean, if you add all of our stackable credentials, this year, when I first got here, we had 4,524 credentials or something like that. Last year, we put over 9,000 credentials on the board. And so that comes from a direct result of the teachers that's built into their teacher improvement plans in order to get their 301 money. So when it's built into those kinds of plans, you see tremendous results happen because everybody's pulling in the same direction on the same road. And it makes a huge difference. So those are the 5 goals that we have up there, and hopefully we're gonna be able to make some great progress. The other thing I want to mention to you, one of the goals that I almost started to work on, but I think it's gonna happen anyway. I think Mr. Mr. Molina wanted to be a part of doing some revamping of our salary ranges. And so that's something that we're gonna work on this year, even though it's not a goal of mine. It's gonna be something that we're working on because there's some discrepancies there. There's some folks that are a little bit out of whack. And I think Mr. Strachey had asked, bring to us the categories that may be, really out of whack for us to be able to take a look at it. Because there's been a little bit of this going on for several years. It's hard to correct it all at one time. So maybe some small minor corrections as we move forward until either folks retire or are able to bring them up to certain levels. So that's another big piece that's gonna happen. That's not really a part of my goal, but it's something that we're working towards to provide more equitable, sustainable salary ranges. So it's big things to do.
I think with everything digitized too, it'll be a lot easier to pull information quicker and get reports that we want a lot faster.
It is, and I just think that I think the curriculum instruction department and campus administrators, the work they do to make sure our data is clean and it's nice and available. And then we have a new gentleman who took over for Diane Parsons Cole, who now does our data and information. And we do a really good job of pulling great data for the work that we do here for students. So
For goals 1, 2, and 3, what was the goal last year and what did we hit?
I think everything went up 1 percentage point, I believe. Or may have gone up 2, so maybe the high value credential was 90.
I should have known Mr.
91, I think
Ramirez
went
would
up
have
1.
it.
Yeah.
This is last year, and then this is the year prior to that, so 23, 24, 24,
10 years, we're gonna run out of space here.
No,
At some point you can't go.
No, there's just
further.
But the other thing that I want to report on, when we do the evaluation at the end of the year, Mr. Straka made a great point that, we have some new teachers and new programs. And so it takes a little bit of time to kind of get your feet wet around preparing students for not only TSA, but for credentials. There's a lot of work that goes on because they do a number of tests. And so one of the things we'll talk about, Mr. Straka, that you brought up last year is let's take a look at some of our newer programs and some of those areas that it may take a little time to.
Because like where you're at 93% for an existing program, but we're launching a new program like advanced manufacturing at Northeast Campus. We have no track record and you're signing up for 93%. Out of 20 kids, that means 19 out of 20 gotta make it. That's high risk. And so I think the other thing you need to look at is new programs versus existing programs might need two sets of numbers at some point. Because let's go further down the road, bond program passes, we're launching a lot of programs. How do you keep up? You launch a lot of programs, you're not gonna meet 90-something% out of the gate on every program to get to that number.
And everybody here needs to know that I put my reputation on the line for it when I put big numbers like that, and I really do. And the administrators will tell you, Dave and Holly and Mike and they'll tell you that most people wouldn't put those kind of numbers in their goals because there's a chance that we may not get there, but I still believe that we can do it, and I think we have the support systems in place. And just as the gentleman that came up with the program, we hold everybody to high expectations, and we expect people to come in and get their job done and do it better than anybody. So I still expect them to do well.
Oh, those are good goals. I mean, that's the core mission of West-MEC,
It is,
right?
it's a core mission.
We always gotta stay focused on those.
You gotta set the bar high.
Yeah, always. And I hold myself accountable to that as well. So if you're not gonna be able to hold yourself accountable, you can't hold anybody else accountable. So
And we're a technology district, and automating in a technology district seems like the right thing to do.
it does. It does.
If you meet your goal every year, you've set your goal too low.
Well, one of them I'd say that may not be good for that one. But the TSAs, I mean, we've all those scores go back to our partner districts, and that really does help them with their A through F accountability system and continue to get those credentials. So
I appreciate the motion. We approve the goals as presented. So I would like to start that conversation.
Okay. So Marlena seconded. Any additional discussion? Mr. Molina. Call the question.
last thing I want to mention, Mr. Strock, I forgot to mention this, in the evaluation tool, one of the things that, because we had lunch yesterday. And so one of the things that we've talked about in the last couple of years, I'm gonna provide a little bit more of a narrative when I get my evaluation tool of some of the benefits, because you see all the things that I do, I'm like everywhere all the time. But I will try to put in there a little bit more of a narrative for, we did all these things, so what really was the benefit to West-MEC? So if there's some things that I can put in there to really provide just a little bit of a narrative as to things that, there may only be a few.
The one we talked about yesterday was the credentials and the placement numbers. You said, or I can't remember what it was, but something, the placement was 93%. You trace that back to, and that
Career
should be
literacy
the
plan.
narrative.
Yeah, the career literacy plan that doing those kinds of
We
things.
launched this, and then this happened. And I think that's I picked on Dr. Spurgeon on, hey, you do all this great stuff, but you're really underselling, not giving yourself credit for all the results.
So there might be new partnerships that are established or something that happens and as a result of, it's just nice for each board member, I think it's a great suggestion, and I'll do it, is to say, we did all these things, then what are those top 2 or 3 things that came of all those conversations and meetings and committees and all the kinds of things, what was a great benefit to West-MEC? So I'll do that. Thank you for that suggestion. And then the next item is a couple of modification of dates, and I think this just comes around. I think there's a couple of big conferences or times when folks are gonna be out. So we had to look at 2 different dates, I think one for December and one for April. That typically happens. I think that's the only reason why those 2 are moved out.
I'll make a motion that we approve it just to start the conversation.
All right. And I just wanted to mention, just for the record,
Next, we're just gonna sit there until Ms. Wiley speaks. My only question is on the move to December 17th. I look at the 2-week Christmas break, so you have December 9th to 17th to 19th, and then you come back January 5th, and the agenda gets released to the board by the 7th. So it gives you 4 days to put the January 4 workdays to put the January agenda together. Is staff good with being quick on that?
There's not much going on during that time.
I'm happy to approve it, but we're putting a lot on the staff.
I think we'll be okay, because typically January is a pretty light month, and that still gives us, it'll be the week we come back would be our phone call for that Wednesday, so we'll just have to everything prepared before we go out for holiday.
In 2023, we held it on January 10th.
Yeah, it was actually,
Sorry.
yes, that was when Miss Brown was. She was
2023, we held it on January 2nd.
Yeah, it was quick. 2023 was the big turnaround.
Yeah.
And I think we moved it to, it's now the 14th or 12th, so that'll be a good one. Did you call for the question? Yeah, did you vote? Oh, you already voted?
Yeah.
Be sure you keep these in your car. Everybody found these. What's cool in the back is do you see the white markers here? It looks like a West-MEC arrow on the back. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
No.
Look at it. Don't tell me it doesn't.
I'm flying. I don't see it either.
Motion passes.
So get a bigger one, you said there's a windshield cover.
I said this zero.
Just for the,
Tempt him, we'll get the next budget.
just for the record, the G1 also passed unanimously, correct? Okay, passed unanimously. Okay, thanks.
So.
All right,
West-MEC, so we're down to, so once you see this.
H1.
Back.
All right. Future agenda items.
Shin.
None?
Yes.
Oh.
The request for future. Several.
Okay.
I asked to make all overnight and out-of-state travel itemized per request. So that it's separate from the agenda. One question, does the public see the agenda for, that we have to
They
approve?
don't see your administrative content, but they see everything else. And here's the issue with that we're checking. I think Ms. Mays is checking legal to see if we can actually publish the names of individuals.
No, no. I don't want names published. That doesn't have to be. It just has to be an itemized, dollar amount for, what we're spending our money on.
Could I just ask,
Right, so it's
if you had questions from the public on how much we spend on travel? Because what I would hate to do, I appreciate the request, but I don't want to create a lot of work for the staff when nobody's requesting the information other than the board. I mean, if it's for us, that's fine, but to put it out for the public to see itemized numbers when nobody's looking for it is creating work that nobody's looking at. If no one's
It's
requesting.
taxpayer money, they should be able to see what their money is going towards.
And I appreciate that, but if no one's made a information request, then the public isn't asking for it, and to ask the staff to do this additional work is not going to be utilized, is what I'm afraid of. If it's for us, I understand it. Put it on in the administrative content, but just to put it on the agenda for the public to see when no one's asking for it.
Well, they've done it anyway, they've done it for us, they've done it for the general public.
It's in a discussed with. Yeah, that's something.
I would like to know also, is there a school right now that you're looking at that already does that we can emulate?
It's really been highlighted in several news articles. In fact, I shared them with Dr. Spurgeon.
Is there any other school doing it in the whole state of Arizona that you saw?
That I can't say.
As an example.
Right now, it's coming to light. And, people are questioning,
Towson and.
So, that's not the only school district. In addition to that, I would like to see a report, that tracks travel costs, because I know that these are all estimates, but I'd like to see the actual travel costs. You know, I don't know if maybe we can do a report like maybe 2 times a year to see how we're doing.
Take another one.
Let's see here. I also asked to write a budget carry forward policy. I actually got one from, the coalition. There was another one that the trust did that I've copied you from DUSD. And still, that needs to be, we really need to have a carry forward policy. One of the things that Frank had brought up in June is you requested a review of exactly what West-MEC provides for our satellite districts. And I think that is, what kind of dollar amount, stuff like that. What is it for?
And I talked to Dr. Spurgeon when we had lunch yesterday. That is in the works. Mr. French is working on it. I'm gonna be meeting with them in the coming weeks to kind of review it because there's a lot of moving parts.
Okay.
And so that one's coming.
In July, I asked to have a date set so that our new CFO could, go ahead and give a financial training course to the governing board. And then I have also asked for the employee salary spreadsheet. I think I originated that in May, and then I was promised in July, and then in August, and I still haven't seen that.
You emailed me all these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then I would also like to see a report, tracking the reasons of why employees have left. Just so that we can improve, employee retention. And I think this would work well with our superintendent's goals.
Some of that
No, we
is gonna
have
be
it.
tied into the survey that we're gonna create, which is part of his goal. So that's the
Right.
intent. It's not a school performance survey. It's it's more of a health and wealth survey for the employees, more employee engagement type of thing.
Yeah, but this would be in addition to that, right now, like I said, we're at over 14%.
Well, that's what the survey would answer. I wouldn't, are you suggesting to go out and, I mean, what is your suggestion? I'm not sure I understand.
That we keep track of, why employees are leaving. So, we can see if there's a problem. If we have a bunch of people that are not, renewing their contracts or they're leaving for certain reasons or something like that, we really need to take it, address that.
I don't wanna, I hate to keep interrupting, but doesn't Ms. Mays ask, and you track that on a spreadsheet? So I think we are getting that, and I would just say from a personal perspective, some turnover is good. Because it brings new blood and new ideas into the
That is, it's
organization.
just like 10% is about the average, and we're over that.
And sometimes you will be, sometimes you won't be. And so.
Well, I know, but this is, we're only in August.
You just need to ask more questions when they leave.
I think that's important.
And our interview questions, we have to take a look at, where are people living when they quit because they live in Timbuktu and they really don't want to do that anymore. That needs to be taken into consideration.
Some of that is already
I
part of.
don't wanna get into a
negotiations that-
discussion where future agenda items, so just list your agenda item, then I can bring it up with.
That was it.
Okay, all right. Anybody else have an agenda item?
I did, but I can't remember what it was. I'll email you when I think of it.
Yeah, I'll email you too.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I take that back, Ms. Wiley. Sorry. Thank you for pizza time.
Yeah, I was like,
Conversation though.
yeah,
I like that.
You can converse after.
I know.